When we talk about the war around Iran, most explanations focus on ideology such as religion, security, and most importantly, politics. But if you step back and look at the bigger picture, something else starts to appear: energy routes, nuclear leverage, and regional power, and billions of dollars tied to who controls the balance of the Middle East. Because this conflict isn't just one war, it's several wars stacked on top of each other. It's a war of nuclear deterrence, a regional war of influence, and a global war over energy supply. And underneath all of that, there's a deeper fight over who gets to shape the future of the Middle East. This is Coin in Context, and today we're following the real story behind the war around Iran: who is involved, why it's escalated now, and what it's costing. And most importantly, who actually benefits from this conflict continuing. As of early 2026, the conflict surrounding Iran has expanded beyond the shadow wars that defined the region for decades. What once existed as covert operations, proxy battles, and economic pressure has increasingly moved into open confrontation. Iran now faces direct military pressures from Israel and the United States, but the battlefields extend far beyond those three countries: Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and the Persian Gulf. Each of these locations have become part of the same geopolitical struggle, because this war is not just confined to borders, it's spread through alliances, militias, and economic choke points. To understand it, we first need to understand who the players actually are. At the center of the conflict is Iran. Iran's military power is built around two main forces. On one hand, you got the regular armed forces, and then on the other hand, you got the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, or IRGC. The IRGC plays a unique role in all of this. It operates both as a military organization and a political institution. But Iran's influence in the region has never relied only on its own military. Instead, Tehran spent decades building networks of alliances and proxy groups across the Middle East. Groups such as Hezbollah in Lebanon, and militias in Iraq, and the Houthis in Yemen. Together, these networks form what analysts often call the axis of resistance. And opposing Iran most directly is Israel. Israel views Iran's nuclear ambitions as an existential threat. Its leadership has repeatedly stated that allowing Iran to reach nuclear weapon capability will fundamentally change the balance of power within the region. The United States then enters as Israel's most powerful ally. American bases across the Middle East makes the US deeply embedded in the region's security architecture. And when tensions escalate, those bases become immediate strategic targets. Meanwhile, the Gulf states occupy a far more delicate position in all of this. Countries like Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and Qatar sit geopolitically between the major powers. Their economies depend on the energy exports and stable shipping routes, which means that escalation in the region threatens not just security, but global energy markets. But none of this began in 2026 or even in 2025. To understand the present conflict, you have to go back decades. Relationship between Iran and the United States collapsed after the Iranian Revolution in 1979. The revolution replaced the Western-backed monarchy with an Islamic republic deeply suspicious of outside influence. The US Embassy hostage crisis cemented hostility between the two countries, but the deeper roots go even further back. In 1953, a CIA-backed coup removed Iran's elected prime minister. For many Iranians, that moment became a defining symbol of foreign interference. For Americans, later confrontations reinforced the perception of Iran as a hostile power. Two completely different historical memories, both shaping politics today though. Iran's relationship with Israel followed a similar transformation. Before 1979, Iran and Israel maintained a quiet cooperation. After the revolution, Israel became one of Iran's primary ideological and strategic adversaries. Over the following decades, the rivalry evolved into a long-running shadow war. Cyber attacks, covert operations, airstrikes, and a proxy conflict across the region. At the center of today's conflict lies one of the issues above all others: Iran's nuclear program. Iran insists its nuclear development is for civilian energy purposes, but enrichment levels and uranium stockpiles have raised serious international concerns. Highly enriched uranium can power nuclear energy systems, but the same technology can dramatically shorten the path to nuclear weapons. That ambiguity is what makes the issue so dangerous. For Israel, the concern is straightforward. A nuclear armed Iran would fundamentally alter regional security. For Iran, the argument is equally clear. Nuclear capability offers deterrence against foreign intervention. Both sides believe they are acting defensively, which makes compromise extremely difficult. So, why has this conflict escalated now? Several factors have converged here. First, the long standing shadow war has gradually shifted towards direct confrontation. A threshold for direct strikes has already been crossed. Second, Iran's nuclear program has increased pressure on Israel and the United States to act sooner rather than later. And third, internal instability within Iran has created additional uncertainty. Economic pressures, inflations, and widespread protests already place strain on the Iranian political system. A government facing internal pressures can respond in two ways. It can become cautious, or it can become aggressive in order to reinforce authority. That uncertainty makes the current situation far more volatile. But geopolitics is only one part of the story. Wars are often economic events. The Strait of Hormuz sits directly beside Iran, and roughly 1/5 of the world's oil supply passes through that narrow waterway. And disruption here immediately affects global markets. Energy prices rise, shipping costs increase, insurance premiums surge, and economies around the world will feel the ripple effects of this. The war is already costing billions of dollars. Military operations alone require enormous financial resources. At the same time, regional economies face lost trade, sanctions pressure, and infrastructure damage, which means this conflict isn't just regional, its financial consequences are global. And beneath the economic calculations lies the human reality. Missile strikes do not only hit military targets, they damage homes, hospitals, schools, civilian infrastructure. Thousands of civilians have already been killed or displaced in this wider conflict. Every number in war statistics represents a life disrupted, a family displaced, and a community changed forever. So what is this war really about? At its core, it's about power. Iran wants strategic depth across the Middle East. Israel wants to prevent Iran from reaching military capability that threatens its survival. The United States wants to prevent regional stability and protect its allies. And every actor believes the cost of backing down may be greater than the cost of escalation. When those incentives collide, conflict becomes extremely difficult to contain. The war surrounding Iran is not just about missiles or nuclear technology, or even an ideology. It's about a region searching for new balance of power. The old order in the Middle East is fading, but the new order hasn't yet been written. And in geopolitics, when the rules disappear, force often becomes the way new rules are created. This is Coin in Context, explaining the hidden money and power behind the world's biggest events.